Welcome to Next Level Greatness, the podcast. Around here, we'll be talking about all things expansion, going from good to great and from great to greatness. I'm your host, Barbie Collab. Get ready for your next level. Let's do this. Hello, everybody. Welcome to our little interview. I have Amy with us, and today we're going to talk about Unchained. Some of you may have seen, if the algorithm has been favorable to us, some of you may have seen that I've been talking a lot about my upcoming program called Unchained, and it really is a revolutionary, soulful, goal-setting and manifestation program. This is why I'm bringing Amy. In my experience of setting goals every year, it was very much focused on, this is the action I want to take, do. And then you would set these big goals, whether we achieve them or not. There was a point where I felt like I was just grinding. Personally, I got to a point where I got burnt out. I got exhausted and I got tired of the old system of like, here's the goal, just freaking go for it and then just do it. And I became afraid of the masculine. I became afraid of the inner beast that is inside of me. And so I retreated really for like a few years. I did a lot of learning on energetics, creating a new system. And that is why I created the program Unchained, which is a soulful goal-setting program. And so, Amy, welcome. We're going to call you a guinea pig, but you were the first round. This is actually the second edition. So, first of all, are you someone that sets goals? And what has that looked like for you in the past?
When I set goals, it was very much like what you just said. It was, okay, this is my super long-term goal. This is my goal for this year. And then I would break down this year's goal into like, this is what I have to do monthly, weekly. And then there would be tasks to do every day. And it became like the doing, the checking the things off the list and the pushing and the making this happen. Because if I don't do this task, then this will fall behind and it was exhausting. I mean, I got things done. Goals were reached. I was productive, but it was almost a costly being productive. It wasn't authentic. It was oftentimes I didn't give myself the room to pivot a little bit. If going along the path, this goal wasn't exactly what I wanted, I wouldn't pivot because this was the long-term goal. And in order to do that, I have to do these things. And I kind of learned through Unchained how to pivot, how to manifest, how to create the goal instead of pushing and making and manufacturing and doing.
I'm such a proud teacher right now because I honestly could not have described it better. I mean, I really think that you just described most of the population's experience with goal setting and the way that it actually feels. And I love that you just said it. It gets to feel different. It gets to feel more than just doing. So that's actually one of the first things that we talked about in Unchained, right? About the things in our lives that we're most proud of in the present year. And I remembered for you, it had to do with being. Mm-hmm. So what was the reason that you signed up for Unchained?
There was a better version of me inside, hidden somewhere. I knew it was there, but I didn't know how to get to it. There was resistance that I was facing, and I just didn't know how to access. That was the word I used when I was thinking, I want to access that better version. But it ended up being becoming that and embodying that better version of myself.
Yes.
That was the point.
That was the point. But I think sometimes, I think a lot of times or almost every time people sign up for my courses and they think that they're going to get one thing and then it turns out to be something completely different. Mm-hmm. And on top of that, I do deliver on the promise because it was a goal setting and manifestation process. But what you're saying about becoming, can you speak a little bit more about that? Because that's something that we talked about quite a bit. I mean, the entire time, everyone felt that they were becoming.
It was about basically learning my identity, not allowing other people to tell me who I was and not looking at myself through somebody else's lens. I really learned how to look at myself and who I am, who I want to be, and learning to say that I don't want to be that. This is who I am. This is who I see myself as, and this is who I'm going to be.
Ooh, I just got goosebumps again because I got all these flashbacks of all the work that we've done together and how that was an issue that kept repeating itself. How we talk a lot in Unchained and my other programs, we talk a lot about conditioning, that we're all conditioned. We get conditioned by the schools, we get conditioned by religion, we get conditioned by our parents and anyone that crosses our path from conception, really, that is being shown in the research studies that even as a fetus, you're already being programmed and we're carrying generational programming and conditioning. And so it just continues. And so by the time we reach our 20s, 30s, how old are you? You're 30 something?
I am 45, 40.
Oh
I'll be 46 at the end of the year.
Holy moly. I'm like, you're like a young chicken. You must be like 34. It's good job, Amy.
Thanks.
It's in your workouts and just your wonderful nutrition. But yeah. And so by the time that we reach our 40s, we literally are walking around with somebody else's idea of everybody, the world's idea of who we should be and what we should be. And so one of the things that we did in Unchained was to strip away the layers. And something that you had said was, you wrote it down when you sent me a message. You said, this course challenged me to honestly look at where I was, honestly and without judgment, and examine what limiting beliefs I was holding on to. Can you talk a little bit about that? Like, what was that process like? Like, what was it about the course that made you look at yourself honestly and without judgment?
The first step was to take out the judgment, to be honest with myself, not judging where I am or how I'm seeing myself or who I am right now. Because when you put the judgment, it makes it bad or good. And it's not bad or good. It just is. So I had to learn how to look at what just is. And once you look at what is without the judgment that, well, sometimes I'm really feisty and that means that that's bad because now I'm temperamental and difficult. You just take those judgment words and that all of that negative or positive out of everything and just look and see what feels right. And then you can build that better version of yourself. You can become that better version and then that better version. And then you keep evolving.
Which is why you've signed up for the second time, right? For Unchained. Can you talk a little bit about the community? Because in order for us to reveal ourselves to each other, to ourselves and to each other, you have to have a safe space. So can we talk about the community where we blossomed together?
That was one of my favorite parts of any time I've spent any time in any of your courses. It's always a safe place. There's always a quick bond forms and it's support. There's never judgment. You don't look at somebody like, I can't believe she just said that, or I can't believe she's really like that. Like, it's a safe place to be honest, because we've all been there. We've all had something, and it's a safe place to land. Like, you can be your real self and nobody is judging you. I was just telling you before, like we all ended up friends just because we spent so much time. And when you spend that time doing so much work on yourself with other people, you just can't help but be bonded together. You've still a support system.
Yes. So you had shared that with me and I was like, oh my God, you guys are talking behind my back, not behind my back. You guys are friends behind my back. And I think that's so amazing. And you were saying that you connect with each other and you asked each other questions. And I was so happy. And it's really hard to believe that especially in this world now, that there could be a place without judgment, but you really felt that.
And it's not like we're all the same kind of person. I mean, we are a completely diverse group from
Really? Yes.
everywhere in the country, everywhere in other countries, everywhere. Just we are different people with different backgrounds, different beliefs in some political or religious arenas. Like we're not just a group of like-minded people because we all believe the same thing. And that's fine. And
Yeah.
that's helpful.
Woo! I've gotten goosebumps. I want to sign up. I want to sign up. Yeah, it's true. We have, so professionally, people come from all different backgrounds. You're in sales, and we've got healers, we've got corporate people, we've had CFOs, we have stay-at-home moms, we have yoga sanctuary retreat leaders and owners. I mean, we really have everything. The women in my groups, I've had women in their 20s, but most are anywhere from 30 to their late 60s. And you're right, politically, we actually don't talk about, that's one thing we don't talk about is politics, but I know that politically we all come from different backgrounds, different religions. Some people believe in source, some people believe in Jesus, some people don't believe in anything, and it's all really, really good. And I have to say for the audience that I think one of the reasons that the space feels so safe is because I'm always very vulnerable as well. I'm not, right? Would you agree with that?
Yeah, you are never just, I'm going to instruct you and not be part of this. You've gotten vulnerable. You've shared the things which kind of open the space for us to share.
Yes. I think that's so important because we're really, really talking about not only our soul goals. So what is it that we truly desire, not what your mom and dad wanted you to be or what you were told by society that your marriage should look like or your relationship with your kids or your health or whatever. We're not only talking about getting to the core of what you truly desire, we're also talking about our limiting beliefs and overcoming those limiting beliefs. And so we really had to like dig in and do the work. You also mentioned that when you really do the work, because this program was actually work. This is not a fluffy program where you can just like get the information, sit back and like enjoy the show. I mean, you could, but can you talk about that process? Because I want to be really honest that Unchained, it really is a roll up your sleeves kind of program. What was that like and why was it so good? Because I think this is why so many people are signing back up again.
It's really digging into your identity to the core of who you are and who you want to be. So it's that work of looking and stripping away those things that you aren't owning, that somebody 20 years ago told you you were this, or your boss thinks you're that, or this person thinks I'm this, and you're holding all of this baggage, these identities, these things that people put on you. And it doesn't sound like it, but the work is putting it all down and walking away at the end with only those things that you want to hold.
Ooh, you're so amazing. I feel well, because that was my intention, but to have you saying this almost a year later, it was December when we started, I believe. And so hear you saying that is so deep and profound, because if people can walk away, if people can walk away with, because sometimes you kind of get hit by a truck with this like information and you're like, okay, I'm doing the work, I'm doing these exercises. And yet here you are a year later and you're like, I put my baggage down. I'm unchained. I'm empowered. It's so much more than just a soulful goal setting and manifestation course. So I'm just really, really happy to hear that.
Yeah.
You said that you felt that in the course I was able to give you the tools. So how did you feel empowered to change?
In other times I've tried to, be that better person. I've tried to just go out and be better. And you're kind of winging it. You're just doing it. Like there's no internal change. There's no change in your vibrational frequency. You're just trying to be, and I'm going to try this. It's like saying on Monday, I'm going to try this new diet. And by Friday, I'm starving. So I'm going to eat a hamburger and French fries. It wasn't trying. It was step by step, tearing everything down and then building it back up.
Yes. And I created a workbook, which I've updated since the last time. And it literally takes you step by step in this process. And you said it. It's not just, okay, let's set some goals. This is how we reverse engineer them, because this is what most of us are used to. This is why I added the manifestation part. I don't know if you can link the two, but I trust in you. So how did the soulful goal setting and the manifestation come together for you? Like, what is your understanding of the manifestation part of this course? This is a hard question.
I don't know that I can verbalize it other than to illustrate it.
It's better embodied.
I cook a lot better now. So that was one of the things that I discovered that I really, really wanted. I want to cook for people. I want to help people eat healthy, comforting food and just nourish their bodies. And I think when you're able to nourish somebody's body, my mom always told me that feeding somebody is a way to tell them I love you. So that's how I want to take care of people. And it was always just, I mean, I can follow a recipe and I can do that very well, but this was sort of gave me a little bit more freedom to just be creative and to manifest the food, like to put things together that just felt right. Like it was more operating and being comfortable in that feminine energy that I kept shutting out, because that wasn't the way that you're successful. You're successful in that masculine doing energy. And I had to do things to be productive. But this was allowing myself the freedom to just be in that feminine energy. And I'm enjoying it, because I always said, I'm not a creative person. I don't create, but I do. It just happens to be in the kitchen. It's not artwork, but I create meals, I create food. And that's kind of the manifesting part for me. I am able to create these things freely.
Oh, that's so beautiful. And it goes so beyond food, because for someone else, it might be something completely different. It might be their business. It might be the relationship. If there is a bottom line, the bottom line is that through Unchained and the work that you've done with yourself, on yourself, within yourself, you are able to fully step into who you are, the wholeness of who you are, and not just, I have to achieve, I must succeed at this task list, which we both. And so for those of you who are listening and considering, when it comes to manifestation, I know that manifestation is very trendy right now. And what is it? Manifesting is creating or something that presents itself into the reality, right? Like this has manifested, good or bad, it has manifested. But when we speak of manifestation, what we're really talking about, yes, of course, there's some doing, there's some action, like the food is going to make itself, right? So for example, or like if you want to lose weight, it's not just going to lose itself. So I mean, like, but something, we have to cause something, but not always. But then there's a whole side of the equation that is often missing from goal setting. And that is what we're talking about with manifesting. It's the trusting, it's the allowing, it's getting into the receiving mode. It is a combination of those masculine and feminine energies, right? So masculine energy, as you said, is the doing, it's the building, it's the linear, it's the logical, it's the constructive. And we need that. But so many of us women, we've existed almost in that purely masculine paradigm, and we've shut down what you're talking about, which is like the fun, the play. Remember, it was like a whole big deal. I just remember having all these flashbacks of our sessions where you started wearing more color and you're like, wait, I actually like color. And so, yeah, remember like and then I started seeing you post more recipes and like go after your dreams and like do races, which are going to this weekend. And it's just been so beautiful to see you fully step into like your whole human self with the feminine and the masculine. And isn't the point of living and setting goals and achieving them to enjoy this life and this journey. So I would say that really that is Unchained. Why are you taking it again? Like you just signed up for Unchained again.
I'm a different version of myself than I was last year. And I would like to set some new soulful goals from this version of myself so that I can become the next version of myself and step into better things for myself, to step into greatness, to be unchained, to not cage myself, not cap myself, not limit myself.
Yeah.
Just the sky is really the limit. And I would like to just kind of go through things again from this perspective, because I have a totally different perspective on things than I did last year.
Yeah. I'm so excited. And you really bring up the point that you're not doing this because you're trying to fix something that's wrong. You're doing this because you're ready for the next level and we're always evolving. So yep. I'm also going to go through the program myself because I'm also very different than I was last year. And I actually did begin and I was like, man, this is good because I'm different. So I would say it differently now, but I'm really also enjoying the process. Last question. What would you say to someone who is on the fence, who's wondering, like, do I really, it's not about needing, right? But do I really, yeah, okay. People are usually saying, do I really need a goals course? You know, what would you say to someone that's like debating it or listening?
That's really kind of it's not the whole thing. It's one of the points is setting goals, but it's so much more than that. I never go into anything with you with any expectation because it would totally ruin it. And it would be that linear, this is what I expect, this is what I'm driving for. But by allowing what I learn to direct, that's the key. It's so much more than just learning to set soulful goals or what soulful goals are. It's helping learn about yourself. And the idea that I went in there to learn to set these goals, the goals that I thought I was going to set are not the goals that I ended up setting. It's totally different.
Yeah.
And I can't even reduce it to simply just setting goals.
No. And this is why.
So much more.
Yes, I have to agree. And this is why posting about it is one thing, but I really wanted people to hear you and to see you. It's just a different experience. It's so much more than just goal setting and manifestation. It's really about becoming. I'm not going to change the name to becoming because Unchained is right.
But when people sign up, just go through it. Be open, be honest. It is exciting and terrifying and exhilarating. And it's really hard work, but it's so much fun.
Yes, because you grow through the hard stuff. But there's so much bonding. Okay, so to wrap up, first of all, thank you. I've had so much fun.
Me too.
Yeah, this is great. And my heart feels expanded and joyful, and I'm really excited. So for those of you listening, Unchained, it's 10 self-paced modules. There are about 15 hours worth of videos. It's go at your own pace. You have lifetime access. We are adding 2 live Zoom calls for that community so that you do the work on your own and then you bring it to the table and you get to ask pretty much anything related to the course, which is a lot, right? There are a lot of different topics that we've talked about. And you get to come and you workshop. One is going to be in November. The other one's going to be in December. And then there is also Voxer support. So Voxer is like kind of like sending voice memos. And you can also type if you don't want to send little voice memos. And you get that for, I said 8 weeks, but F it, I'm going to say 9 weeks. And it's just a beautiful process. I'm going to put the link to Unchained below. Amy, thank you so much. This was absolutely heart-filling for me. I so appreciate you.
Of course.
Okay. Bye-bye. If you loved this episode and if you're loving my podcast, I would love for you to leave a review. They really do make a difference in spreading the word and having more people be impacted. Also, I'd love for you to join me in my Facebook community called The Magnetic Portal. You can find the link in the show notes. I'll see you next time.